Hello and welcome back. My name is Colton Sproul, and today we're going to look at Invoke repeating and another color randomizer, but I'm going to do it myself this time, no chat GPT involved. I'm going to show you the basics of like grabbing a mesh and then fill in a reference if you don't know how to grab the mesh through Get Component. And yeah, let's get to it. So on this object, this is your inspector over here on the far right. You have a cube, which is a mesh filter here. Here's the mesh itself. It just shows this, and we can actually change that to something else if you wanted. We're not doing that right now. The element here is your materials. You got all kinds of different fun stuff. But what we're looking at, what we're actually looking at is the mesh renderer itself. And we're trying to grab this material, and then we're trying to grab the color of this material and change it. So get back into the things that I want to grab. Uh, there's a lot of stuff in here. There we go. So I'm going to create a new script called mesh renderer color randomizer. Cool. Easy enough. Open that up. Probably got to close all kinds of fun stuff that I was working on before. Yep. 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 All right. Normally up top we'll set all our references and fun stuff there. First thing we're going to do is on start, we're going to do the most basic way to grab this, which is get component. What we're grabbing is called a mesh renderer, right? Now this mesh renderer has a material. This material has a color. This color, we want to change the color. So let's go color dot what? We've got all kinds of different colors here that we could actually change it to. I didn't know they had all these different colors. Normally it was just black, white, gray. Now you got all kinds of cool stuff. Let's go blue. I like blue. So this is the easiest, quickest way to change the color of something. The most basic way, I mean. Get component mesh render material color equals color.blue. Now we want to make sure we put this onto the object. Once it's on the object, get component grabs the component that's on this object itself. Get component in children will go down into the child object and try to look for that component. That's not what it's doing right now. It's getting the component that's on the object, like this component right here. So it's reaching up, it's grabbing that, it's grabbing this material, it's changing the color. So on start, this should change blue. And it is blue. We can actually, we don't need to play maximized. Here we go, go focus, play focused. So if you don't know how to do, if you want to learn how to do serialized fields, a serialized field is basically exposing something in the inspector. Like that material we were just looking at inside the mesh renderer, those variables are exposed in the inspector. So serialized field does that. We want to expose a mesh renderer called mesh renderer. Okay. Now, this is exposing it. This is what the variable or what it is. This is the name of it. So now on start, we can call mesh renderer. No, the small one. dot. We don't have to do get component now because it's already grabbing that. We already did that now that we're pushing this reference here. Now we just do material dot color equals color dot, we go red. But here's the difference. We have to fill this reference. Now, serialized field does this. It allows me to see it right down here. Now, remember when I said it grabs this? Now we'll have to literally grab it and drop it in. Now it knows that there's a value there. Now it's grabbing that because we just filled that reference. Now when we press play, it should change it to red. Easy enough. Cool. Next step. We want to change the color to a random color. They have a random dot color HSV, or yes, HSV. That will grab the mesh render and change it to any color. So every time I press play, it will be a random color. That time it was golden. That time it was yellow. That was fun. Didn't look too different. That time is pink or peach. So now this is where it gets cool. So these bricks in the back are prefabs. We can, I'm going to get rid of this object, and I'm going to go into my brick lock prefab and grab my brick, and I'm going to add that color mesh render because it is a mesh. It has a mesh renderer on it. I'm going to drag and drop it in there. Now, every one of these bricks is doing something. Now, every one of these bricks has that same script on it. So instead of being red, they all should start out as a different color. Let's not crash my computer, hopefully. Boom. So we can go one step further. I told you about invoke repeating. An invoke is telling it to do something, but telling it to do it after a certain amount of time. So public void change color, right? We're going to call a new function called change color. And all it's doing is exactly what that's doing. But in the beginning, we want to invoke it. And invoke, you can call it change color. You can call it after 5 seconds if you wanted to. So it doesn't call immediately. It does call immediately from start, but then it delays for 5 seconds before calling this. So maybe 5 seconds was too long. Now we just get to sit here and listen to me ramble. After 5 seconds, we should see that it invoked it, and there you go. Now, the final step in this is invoke repeating. And this is going to be fun. So we want to, it's giving me an error because it's telling me there's something wrong. Invoke repeating takes in 3 different arguments. One is the string for the method we're trying to run. The second one is when we want to run the first invoke. And the third is how often we want to run the invoke after that. So the problem with this that most people run into is they think this is fun to do and you'll start invoke repeating. You have to cancel an invoke. You can't just tell it to, you'll have to tell it to stop at some point. Let me see. I don't remember how to call the stop at the moment, but that's not the point of this. I wanted to show you the invoke repeating. Invoke repeating, and there it is, cancel invoke. So it's called cancel invoke, if you're wondering, but you could do that on a key press. You could do that on some type of, actually, we'll do it like this. We'll do, we'll double up. Um, and we'll call this after 10 seconds. Now change color, public void now, quit color, randomizing. And you have to make sure all these are spelled exactly the way they should be spelled, or else you will get a problem. Now cancel invoke, and we're canceling the change color. So what this does, invoke repeating, we're going to call change color after 1 second, every second after that. And then at 10 seconds, we're going to quit it. We're going to cancel it through this quit color randomizing through cancel invoke change color. So it should start out red. After 1 second, it change color. 2 seconds, change color again. 3 seconds, change color up to 10. And then it should stop changing colors. There we go. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And it stopped. There we go. That is how invoke repeating, invoke, and cancel invoke work with the color randomization. That is all I had for this one. I hope you learned something. If you have any questions, please do ask. Yeah, that's all I had. Thanks for watching.